You know, one thing that a lot of people have been talking about when it comes to AEW, it's not last night's final night in, Daly's place for the time, but it's mainly what Eddie Kingston said at the end of Saturday night's Dynamite this past Saturday. The promo he cut, if you will, the shoot promo he cut on WWE. And, here's the thing. There was a lot of folks, fans, more specifically, and even Wrestling Hall of Famer legend Bubba Ray, that criticized, jumped on Eddie's back, criticized Eddie, if you will, for saying what he did. I mean, Bully Ray basically said, look, flat out, hey, stay in your lane. Keep your mouth shut, stay in your lane. In other words, worry about what you're doing and not worry about the competition. And here's the thing. I said this best to Alex yesterday when he talked about this at the beginning of his live stream review of Dynamite, and then kind of talked about it a little bit more afterwards when he was chatting with the rest of us. I basically said at the end, and it was actually the last normal chat, not a super chat, but normal chat that he read. And basically what I told, what I told Alex in that chat, and basically anybody else that was reading it, is what Eddie Kingston said after Dynamite went off the air this past Saturday when he, shot, if you will, on the competition. It's very equivalent to if Alex came out on camera on his Just Alex channel or his Alex Reviews Everything channel and said, hey guys, I'm here to tell you that my Houston Astros, Rockets, and Texans, they're the best teams in all of MLB, NBA, and the NHL, the NFL, and there's nothing you can do about it. They can beat all your teams, and that's a fact. And I say that with all due respect, Alex, all due respect, but that's how it is. Because basically what Eddie did is the equivalent of Alex doing that, coming out and saying, hey, my Houston Astros can beat all the teams in the MLB. My Houston Rockets can beat all the teams in the NBA. My Houston Texans can beat all the teams in the NFL. It'd be a very much equivalent of that. That's what it would be. It'd be like me, honestly, saying that my A's, my Oakland A's, my San Francisco Giants, my formerly Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders, Sacramento Kings, Golden State Warriors, if you will, San Francisco 49ers, San Jose Sharks, San Jose Earthquakes, and even from a college perspective, Cal Golden Bears, Stanford Cardinals, San Jose State Spartans, and to an extent Fresno State Bulldogs could be all the teams, in the leagues and conferences. That'd be the equivalent of what Eddie Kingston did. That would be the equivalent. It'd be the equivalent of Jeff Siegel, the Schleg Daddy, coming out and saying, hey, my Chicago Bears are the best team in the world. The best NFL team in the world. Nobody can beat them. They can beat everybody just like that. Or it'd be the equivalent of saying, my Chicago Bulls are the best basketball team in the NBA. Nobody can beat them. They can beat everybody just like that. Or the Cubs or the White Sox. Same thing. Hey, my teams are the best in the American League and National League. They can beat anybody just like that. All Eddie Kingston did was basically come out and say that AEW is the better promotion because they do things that wrestling promotions like a WWE should be doing, and that's listening to the audience. Going out there and performing and giving the audience what they want. Not giving them what they want, on occasions here and there just to shut them up, but giving them what they want on a constant basis, or at least attempting to give them what they want on a constant basis. That's what they do. That's what they're doing. And, for people like, Bully Ray, and I say it with all due respect to the guy, for people like Bully Ray or any of these other fans, even those that were in the live chat during Alex's review yesterday, and I'm sure Solomonster had some of them during his live chat when he did a review, or his live stream when he was doing a review. here's the thing. For those people that want to criticize it, fine. Look, you have all the power to do that. That's your opinion. But you have to realize that even though it's your opinion, what he's doing is the equivalent of you cheering for your home sports team or your hometown's college team. That's all he's doing. Heck, when I lived in the Midwest, my heart still stayed with my sports teams here in California. And it always has, and it always will. Even if I move out of state again, my heart's still going to remain with all the sports teams here in California, here in Northern California and Central California. That's where my loyalty lies. Okay? But when I lived in the Midwest, even though my loyalty still lied here, and anytime I got to see them on television in some capacity, I was all for it. I was like, yes, there's my team. But when I lived in the Midwest, when I lived in Kansas, you know what I did? Even though I kept my loyalty here, I showed loyalty to where I was living. Loyalty to, from a college perspective, the Kansas Jayhawks and the Kansas Jayhawks and and believe it or not, the Washburn Ichabods and the Kansas State Wildcats. College bound wise, that's who I showed support to. Pro sports wise, NFL, MLB, Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City Royals, St. Louis Cardinals, St. Louis Rams when the Rams were there. That's what I did. That's what I did. And because I lived out in the Midwest for about 13 years, just like I lived out here for most of my life before moving out there, if you catch my drift. Because what was that? I lived out here for what? 14 years? 15 years? And then 13 there? Because I lived out there for just an almost equal amount of time, 2 years short. Or how long I lived here, but 2 years short. My loyalty still lies with those teams as well. It's about loyalty. Because they are your home team and because you grew up on them. If Alex ever moved out, let's say Alex moves and gets his own place, in Houston, or maybe Alex decides, you know what, I'm going to move to Oklahoma City. Do you think he's just going to give up on the Rockets and go, hey, I'm all Thunder, right? No. He's still going to be a Houston Rockets fan because that's the team he grew up on. You think Alex is going to move to Dallas, Texas and be like, I'm a Cowboy fan? No. Now, right? No. He's still going to be a Texan. You think Alex moves to Arlington, he's going to be a Rangers fan? No, he's still going to be an Astro fan. The point is, it's about loyalty. And that's all Eddie Kingston did. That's all Eddie Kingston did. Alright? I mean, I'll give you an example. My mom is a San Francisco Giants fan, but her dad, my grandfather, was Oakland A's. So even though she favors the Giants a little bit more, she's still loyal to the A's because of that. You kind of get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? It's like, crazy as it sounds, MLP. Even if, new generation, G5, new generations as it's known, turns out to be another phenomenon. Turns out to be another huge success for Hasbro and the MLP's history and franchise. There's still going to be people that look at Friendship is Magic, G4, and say that's the best. Because they grew up watching that, or they spent 10 years watching that and supporting it. So they're going to consider that to be the be-all, end-all. And that G5 is nothing. And even if, like I said, even if G5, New Generation, proves to be a huge phenomenon, they're still going to point at this and saying, that's the best. We're still loyal to that. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It's like me coming out and saying that Transformers Generation 1 is the best incarnation. And there's others that will say, oh no, Beast Wars was, or oh no, Energon was, or oh no, Prime was, or the Bayverse was. Me, I'll be the one that comes out and says, no, Generation 1 was. Period. You kind of get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Now, the other thing that I mentioned to Alex too, after he talked about this, I super chatted him this, is that I believe that in Bully Way's mindset, from his point of view, when he said what he did, it's Bully's way, because he's a legend, he's a Hall of Famer. He has come out and said that he sees a lot of similarities between him and Eddie, because both have a similar style of, promo work and similar style of, I guess, in-ring work or whatever the case may be. Basically, he identifies with Eddie because they're very similar, from a wrestling perspective. But when I heard Bully say that, or something to that equivalent, something told me that what Bully Ray is doing, from his point of view, from his mindset, is he's trying to protect Eddie's future. He's coming out and saying that Eddie should stay in his lane and keep his mouth shut because he's trying, in his point of view, because he's been there, done that, he's trying to protect Eddie's future so that if Eddie does decide to go to WWE in the future, if that offer does come up, Eddie won't have to worry about any, he won't have to worry about any, ramifications or consequences that may come his way before he gets a big opportunity. He won't have to worry about being trolled or humiliated before they decide, okay, Eddie, now we're going to give you your shot. He wants to make sure that if Eddie gets that opportunity, it's an opportunity that's with a clean slate. But Kingston said it himself. He already burnt that bridge when he did his promo. And he pretty much burnt that bridge probably when he was working with Evolve a little bit. Because Evolve at a time was before they bought them, was kind of another developmental brand, by association to WWE. So Eddie was that close. He was that close to NXT, believe it or not. But he decided to go with AEW, and thus he burned the bridge. And then doing this promo didn't help anything, apparently. But Eddie's the kind of guy that don't give a crap. He's like, hey, I'd rather work for a company like AEW that does things for the fans and everything, that loves pro wrestling, that lets the wrestlers wrestle, than for a company that's more about, hey, we're just, the superstars are just there for the money. Most of them anyway. But, yeah. But, what Bully, in my opinion, did, and I was just thinking about what I was going to say there, but what Bully did from his mindset, in my opinion, is he's trying to protect, from his point of view, he's trying to protect Eddie. Not realizing that, hey, Bully, Bubba, you did the same thing when you were in ECW and in TNA, aka Impact. You did the same thing. Alright? You did the same thing, so don't be hypocritical about it. But again, my opinion, I think he knows that when he and Devon went back to WWE, that even though they were kind of given a little bit of a push at first, as baby faces and even as heels, they were mostly there to enhance talent instead of getting that one last run at the top because of all the shots he took at the WWE. So what he's doing from his point of view, in my opinion, from his mindset, is he's trying to protect Eddie Kingston and his possible future, with WWE should that day come, down the line. That's what he's trying to do, now realizing that Eddie doesn't care if he goes there or not. And there's a lot of men and women that wrestle, that are in AEW right now, in Impact, that are in NWA, in New Japan, AAA, that have never touched foot in WWE and never plan to. Because they don't trust them. Because of everything they hear about them, they don't trust them. So they're never going to probably step foot in there because of that. And Kingston's going to be one of them. So all Eddie did in the long run, guys, was he's just, hyped up his own promotion by saying, hey, we do things the other company doesn't. And maybe in a way, when you think about it, maybe he's trying to tell the other company, WWE that is, hey, you want people like me to stop taking shots at you? You want the fans to give you the same reaction they give us? Then listen to them. Listen to them. Give them what they want. And see what happens. And that's about it. And maybe he's also trying to send a message to the men and women that are just about the money. Like, hey, you used to be about the wrestling. Get that passion back. Be about the wrestling. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, right now it looks like there's little mini steps that WWE is taking, because apparently behind the scenes, Shane McMahon has taken over, Bruce Pritchard's, spot. So maybe that's a good thing. We don't know. But we'll see what happens. But again, all Eddie Kingston did was just do what is the equivalent of a fan like myself of our sports team, of our local and home sports teams, regional sports teams would do. We hype them up. We say they are the best. They are better. That they do things no other teams can do. And like I said, it's the same thing with Alex. When he read that at the end, and I appreciate that, Alex. Thank you very much. When he said at the end that basically it's like him saying his Houston Astros are the best team in baseball. Nobody can beat them. Same with the Rockets, best team in NBA. Nobody can beat them. Same with the Texans in the NFL. Nobody can beat them. It's that equivalent. That's all it is. That's his home team. That's his team, regional home team. Just like the ones I mentioned. For me and others. But that's basically all Eddie did. And what people need to realize is it's the equivalent of them cheering for their home team. Like, they may cheer for other teams, outside of the home region or the home state and everything, because maybe they lived in that region or that state for a brief period, but the heart always remains with the home team they grew up on in the state they grew up in, since the day they were born. And that's about it. But let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts? Do I have a point on this? And also check out Alex's expert. He took out excerpt, if you will, from his live stream where he talked about this. I'll provide it at the end of the video here so you guys can check it out. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment if you like down below. Like the video. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet. And also let me know what your thoughts are on the live chat during the premiere. And I will talk to y'all later.